From graphic glitches to missed Quidditch potential, the new Harry Potter game isn't what fans were expecting, and the nightmare doesn't end there. The real bad news is that Hogwarts Legacy has no plans for a DLC anytime soon. Let's dive in and find out more. So, the game doesn't have anything to do with J.K. Rowling. Before you bring out your pitchforks and wands, hear me out. The game might have been based on the Harry Potter canon, but it's not based on any new story from the author herself. So if Rowling's transphobic comments may have made you too uncomfortable to buy the game, don't fret. Even Rowling herself has made it clear that she's not involved in any way for making the story of the game. And unlike Pottermore, the old famous Harry Potter game, this is a Wizarding World game that's completely away from the book's timeline. While many are still boycotting the game, many Potterheads have happily embraced the magical world of the fantasy game. And by that, I mean millions. The game just sold between 10 and 20 million copies this year alone. But if you've bought a game like me and are excited to have even more future content, you might have to wait longer, because the game has no plans for a DLC. Yes, it's been officially announced. The game's developer, Avalanche, has said DLC ain't coming anytime soon. So you know what that means. For now, you'll have to amuse yourself with multiple playthroughs with different houses for a while. The game director Alan Tew shared the news at IGN FanFest and said, "We've been really heads down bringing Hogwarts Legacy to life, so at the moment there are no current plans for DLC." Now you really can't tell if he means no DLC at the moment, or does it mean no DLC forever? Well, one thing is for certain, it sure as hell isn't something they're working on right now. But like I said, the game's already growing very fast, with more and more gamers talking about it. And given the early projections, the decision not to release DLC at some point just seems like a huge mistake to me.
Try not to make this.
Arresto momentum. Miss one
Speaking of mistakes, the game has still got a lot of unfinished business. At first, it doesn't look too bad. You're literally transported into the Wizarding World and can explore it at your own terms. Like, imagine exploring every inch of the never-ending castle, all with breathtaking detail. Even outside Hogwarts, you get to ride brooms to the famous Hogsmeade, or venture into the Forbidden Forest, and new locations that keep popping up. Or if you get that far, even a quick trip to the Azkaban prison. Yeah, one thing is for sure, you'll never get bored of discovering new locations even after the main story is complete. But with the story being such a thrill, you wish you don't miss a single moment. The sad part is that you can't pause cutscenes in the game, so if you ever want to take a quick breather or even go to the loo, you'll either have to wait it out or miss some of the dialogue. Yeah, it's the most frustrating thing about the game. The closest second is the glitchy graphics.
This potion wants keeping away from today's young, I'd say.
You don't ever want to find yourself in the pocket of one who knows the Cruciatus curse.
First they're teaching students jinxes. Next thing
No, seriously, what's up with that? If I'm gonna pay over $90 for a game, the last thing I'd want is glitches in the graphics. But sadly, I've noticed quite a lot of glitches in my playthrough that really make the whole Wizarding World experience very underwhelming. And while the open world is very big and detailed, its caves and dungeons look unfinished. You'll find the map pointing to some cave, and you go there hoping to find something exciting. But in the end, all you get is a short single tunnel with a chest of clothes. For a fantasy world that has everything from dragons to goblins, you'd expect the dungeons to be more thrilling than this. And sure, not all things are bad about the game. You gotta give it credit for its combat system. There are lots of spells to learn and master, and you can even use potions in battle. And one thing that's really good about the game is the customizing options. You can literally create any character you want, with so many options on players' clothes. From gloves, glasses, cloaks, and hats, start your own wardrobe in fact. You can also give them quirky haircuts, and have any body body shape, customize your own broom and wand however you like, and get this, you can even choose the way your character sounds and furnish your room of requirement to your taste. Now sure, that's fun and all, but with an open world as imaginative as Hogwarts Legacy, you'd expect to do more than just play dress up. Which brings us to the million-dollar question. Why isn't there Quidditch in the game? Quidditch matches were my favorite part about the movies, and one thing I was really excited to play, but right now the game's not ready to give us that. Sure, you can still fly around on brooms and all, but according to the game's story, the game has been banned. Yep, the Hogwarts principal in 1890, Phineas Black, found the game pointless and decided to take the joy out of all our lives. But you'll want to know the real reason? Sources have confirmed that the sport was most definitely in the works before. The developers just didn't have enough time to finish it and had to remove it from their roadmap. But having a competitive sport like Quidditch in a DLC later can help with a successful launch. And if they do decide to go for a DLC later, there are many ways fans think they could implement one. If you look at the new games coming out and compare them to the previous games, most games are slowly moving away from DLC, but I'd still say that skipping the DLC trend doesn't suit Hogwarts Legacy. For instance, GTA 5 was the best-selling game of all time by a mile, but still, it never put out a single $20 content pack or expansion for a single player. It worked its way around the price issue by focusing on GTA Online instead, which I think paid off well. But here, in the case of Hogwarts Legacy, the game has zero microtransactions, and also no live component. So no matter what form the game might take, I feel DLC is really the only option for it to cement itself as a popular game. And everyone who's played the game already has lots of options they think might work, like the Quidditch option. That's definitely something they could add down the road. Maybe they ran out of time, with all the pressure to release the game when the hype was high. So now they can really sit and think of how to incorporate Quidditch matches into the game. I've also heard many people suggest a Triwizard Tournament expansion. Wouldn't it be super cool? You could have schools competing with rival students from abroad, much like the scene from Goblet of Fire. Maybe have a tournament once a year, but DLC doesn't have to be the only option. Hogwarts Legacy maybe doesn't need a DLC at all. Maybe the game developers know what they're doing. Instead of working on downloaded content to integrate into the game, why not just skip the DLC altogether and take whatever updates and work that could happen and throw it into a full sequel?
Glacius, Confringo, Expelliarmus. Repulsor.
They could also do what Spider-Man Morales did, by using the same open world as the first one with additions and lots of other changes. For now, I think you should not give up hope. Once sales start rolling in, WB Games will realize they could cash in on the bonus spendings attached to the game. So before you get a full sequel, there's still a solid chance for a DLC. Fingers crossed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.